Today on Light the Wick, one more Youngstown company gets creative. Preparations are underway for Halloween, and what's the deal with all this construction? Welcome to Light the Wick. I'm Alexa Hall. We're here to showcase interesting people, places, and events in the Youngstown arts scene. One of the great success stories in Youngstown is Turning Technologies. After starting in the Youngstown Business Incubator, Turning's rapid growth made it a multi-million-dollar international company. Their featured product is called Turning Point. It's used in businesses, K-12 schools, and colleges worldwide. But Turning Technologies recognizes that innovation within the workplace is essential to maintaining their success.
Employees come in during the workday for meetings, brainstorming sessions, and it would seem just general tomfoolery. This is Turning Technologies' think tank. The colorful conference room provides a way to escape from the monotonous, everyday working atmosphere. Its purpose? To foster creativity and original thinking.
When we'd hold meetings in here, we have a lot of really creative people. We'd get into a conference room and all of a sudden everyone would be quiet. No one would share ideas. For some reason, the conference, the big formal conference chairs and the tables just stopped all creativity. So we decided that we needed to have a space, remove those barriers in order to help our teams be most effective.
Inspiration for the think tank came from examples of similar spaces in other cities and companies. But don't think that it's all fun and games. There is a process at work that makes it so effective.
Sometimes we'll kick off with an activity to open everyone's mind up. So one thing that we might do is throw the ball around. And every time someone gets the ball, they need to give an answer to a question. And what that does is it allows for rapid fire creativity. So you're not actually processing things then. So we do a series of those type of things in order to get us ready to work on the actual project that we're working on.
The think tank was originally made for the marketing and R&D departments, but its popularity grew and is now a part of Turning Technologies' company culture. Reporting for Light the Wick, I'm Bill Russo.
We see press conferences on TV of our favorite sports teams, coaches, and players. In Youngstown, it's common to see people like YSU head football coach Eric Wolford discussing his team with the media. But how do the local media and YSU sports teams come together? It takes an incredible amount of coordination and effort, but it's all done by one man, Trevor Parks, the Sports Information Director of YSU.
Our area is promotion of all our intercollegiate athletic teams through pretty much the media aspects. We don't do a lot of marketing. That's more of the marketing department, but sports information is utilizing the local TV, the local newspaper. We understand there's a lot going on and not a lot of bodies around here, so there's a lot of demands on them. We have 18 sports, but we also realize that a lot of that coverage that we're going to get is from the big three, mainly football, men's basketball, and then women's basketball gets a fair amount of coverage. So they do a great job doing that, whether it's promotion of games or recapping. And all we can do is ask them to be fair, and they've always been fair with me through my years here. Sometimes we don't see eye to eye. I understand their viewpoint. They understand my viewpoint. But that's just all part of the business and how media relations and I guess journalism kind of butt heads every once in a while. But when the day's done, I think they have respect for us and we have a lot of respect for them.
While we enjoy football from the stands, Trevor and his crew are busy preparing for the next season of collegiate athletics. The Mahoning Valley Historical Society is expanding. They recently purchased the Harry Burt Ross building, located downtown. The building is currently under construction. In less than a year, it will be the new Mahoning Valley History Center. Some of the plans involve restoring the building's interesting history. I visited the Harry Burt Ross building, and I got the full story. The building formerly known as the Harry Burt Ross building is now under construction. We got a glance at the building's interesting history and exciting future.
We are standing in the ballroom of Burt's Confectionery. When it was in Burt's time, this was used as for dances and events. It was called the Rainbow Assembly Room. When the Historical Society will open this building, we're going to keep it as a ballroom and have it available for Historical Society events and also public rentals. We'll be able to have weddings, graduation parties, things like that here in this room. And it's going to be a very charming and interesting room for the public. The candy factory up here on the two side rooms, they would make the candy, and then the large room that we're standing in now would be the candy packing room. There were tables, people that they sat and they packed the candy into boxes. Other part of the manufacturing was the ice cream plant, which was in the basement of this building, and that was Bert developed the Good Humor bar, which was the ice cream bar on a stick coated in chocolate, which still remains today. It became an icon of American, nostalgic American summer. And he also developed the ice cream truck to go around the neighborhoods to sell his confections, and that was started right here in Youngstown with Mr. Bert.
The building is expected to be open to the public in fall of 2012. Reporting for Light the Wick, I'm Alexa Hall. The historic Wick Pollock is one of Youngstown's last great historical artifacts. The former Pollock estate was built in a time when the wealthiest families lived along Wick. The mansion was restored and converted into a luxury hotel in the 1980s, but closed in the late 1990s. YSU purchased the property, hoping to restore its former glory and provide a beautiful home on campus for the president. Tyler Williams has an update on the progress of the president's future home.
The Wick Pollock is one of YSU's most interesting historic buildings. For over 100 years, it has been of good service to the people, but now its reason for standing is even more interesting than ever, because now it is being built as the future home for YSU President Cynthia Anderson. Brian Clace gave a quick insight on how they as builders are reconstructing this mansion into a home.
Right now we're in the process of removing the old slate from the top of the roof and getting ready for the installation of the new slate that will be installed. And we are actually finding the old existing windows that were in the Wick Pollock originally, and they will be going back in. They were closed up at one time during one of the remodels, but now they will be new windows reinstalled. Basically, the changes being made to the house are bringing it back to the historical house that it was at one time before it was remodeled for the hotel.
Along with putting hard work in reforming a historic home for President Anderson, it's good to hear a positive view on this prominent project.
After the project's all completed and done, I think it'll be a great establishment, and having it a historical building in the area that we're at will be a wonderful thing.
After all the tearing down and reconstructing, it will finally be the place that President Anderson will finally call home. Reporting for Light the Wick, I'm Tyler Williams.
Local rock band The Zoo is busy putting the final touches on their upcoming Halloween concert. For the last few years, we enjoyed the Zoo's annual Halloween concert at Cedars. This year, the band moved to the venue, the Lemon Grove. Frontman Khalid Tabara is happy the band is building on their tradition.
For years, we actually covered all the music from Rocky Horror live on stage. It was something that we were the only people in the country that did. But this year, we're actually adding some new stuff. We always take and we do our own thing with them. It's kind of a whole evening of medleys. So we're doing the Rocky Horror songs, we're doing the Labyrinth songs, we're doing the Nightmare Before Christmas songs, we're doing a bunch of other spooky songs. I Put a Spell on You and whatnot. But then we're also mixing in brand new originals. We're doing a bunch of traditional Zoo stuff that we always do as one of our fan favorites. But then there's a bunch of other bands playing as well.
Catch the Halloween show at the Lemon Grove on October 29th for music from the Zoo. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Light the Wick. I'm sure you have interesting stories to tell us, and we'd love to hear from you. We're going to be back on November 11th to feature more stories about the Youngstown arts scene. Here are your Light the Wick sparks. See you next time.